Hello, coaster enthusiasts. On September 27th this year, Cedar Fair announced that one of Kings Island's most legendary and iconic coasters, the Vortex, would be closing down forever on October 27th, which is today. This announcement came as a surprise and a shock to longtime fans of Kings Island and coaster enthusiasts. Vortex has such an incredible design, and it's so sad that the park is going to remove it. Built by Aerodynamics in 1987, Vortex was the tallest full-circuit coaster in the world at the time at 148 feet, and featured the world's longest drop at 138 feet, and to top the climax, Vortex was the first coaster in the world to feature 6 inversions, so the ride has a ton of historical importance. There were no rumors going around this year that the ride would be closing, so it appears that this may have been a last-minute decision. Yes, I was totally surprised by the announcement, but at the same time I was also not surprised. If you haven't realized, in the last several years, Cedar Fair has been removing a lot of roller coasters, including Disaster Transport at Cedar Point, Thunder Road at Carowinds, the Big Dipper at the abandoned Geauga Lake, Stinger at Dorney Park, and last year the Firehawk at Kings Island. Starting with Cedar Fair's former CEO Matt Ouimet and the current CEO Richard Zimmerman, they have removed many roller coasters and other rides. Almost like this current regime loves to demolish roller coasters. And they announced last year that they were going to be removing many rides that are not popular or that cost too much to maintain, to them. So basically, whenever a ride loses popularity or the cost to maintain it increases, this new regime is very quick to pull the plug out of the ride's socket and scrap it. Cedar Fair claims the ride has reached the end of its service life, which is basically the same excuse to many other rides they have closed recently, including Firehawk. I really love this ride. I got to ride it when I was 7 years old in 2001, back when the park was still Paramount's Kings Island, and it was an incredible ride. It currently ranks number 4 on my top 10 list of Aero Loopers. It's such an important part of the history of Kings Island, and now it's closing. That area of the park is just not going to be the same without it. I'm not pleased at all. I'll be happy if a new coaster takes its place, but I still think this is one of the worst decisions Cedar Fair has made. If you remember earlier this year, many people were upset when Cedar Fair scrapped Volcano the Blast coaster at King's Dominion, and that was one of the park's most popular rides. And Vortex ranks as number 8 on the park's top 10 list of most popular rides. I know Cedar Fair says the ride is at the end of its service life, which basically means it needs a major overhaul, but I'm wondering why they can't renovate it. Look, if you can afford to build a $25 to $30 million Giga Coaster from B&M next year, then why can't you afford to renovate and improve one of your park's most popular and iconic coasters? How in the world can it be too expensive to renovate, and yet you can afford to spend so much money to build a new coaster? Of course, as an amusement park, you need to build new rides to please your guests, but however, you should also keep and maintain your most popular rides and refurbish them when the time comes. Now, for those of you who say the ride is never popular, it never has any line, you have to realize that Vortex is actually running at full capacity. It's running 3 trains at a time, and if you fill them all up, that's 84 guests riding at a time. So the lines will move very fast, which can make it seem that it's not very popular. And some of you will say that since Aerodynamics is out of business, that there is no way the ride can be refurbished. Well, that is where you'd be wrong. Last year in 2018, the company CSM in Belgium completely renovated the Vekoma-built Python coaster at Efteling in the Netherlands and replaced most of its track with new track. This renovation added many years to that ride's lifespan, and since Vekoma uses the same track that Aero did, a renovation like this would have worked on Vortex, and it can work on other Aero loopers that are still operating. Does Cedar Fair even know of this successful renovation and the company that performed it? I don't know. I think the closing of Vortex is just plain wrong. There were better, more proper ways to handle it, and when a ride closes that has so much record-breaking significance, it's a huge loss. So Cedar Fair really needs to build a ride in its place that will blow everyone's minds away, because it's going to take a lot to make up for such a huge loss like this. Like I said, it's one of the most iconic, legendary coasters ever built, and as someone who rode it many years ago, I'm going to miss Vortex very dearly. So that's going to be it for today, enthusiasts. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more content. And rest in peace, Vortex.